you live now to Washington, D.C., where Doug Ford and all the other Canadian premiers are gathering ahead of meetings to try to stave off those U.S. tariffs. We'll listen in live.
It's going to have on Americans who don't want to pay more money for gas and who don't want to pay more money for food and they don't want to pay more. And so we are getting a lot of support from the Americans that we're meeting with, businesses, senators, congresspeople alike, who all agree that these tariffs are going to have a negative impact on the U.S. and we're seeing that progress and how the tariffs continue to get pushed off. Monsieur le Président. En français, la même chose. Sur l'exportation? Mais c'est clair qu'on veut avoir tous les outils dans notre, sur nos tables pour les utiliser si on les a besoin. Mais à ce point, on ne les a pas besoin parce que c'est clair qu'on a une belle relation avec les États-Unis. Ils ont besoin de nous autres et nos produits, puis on a besoin de eux autres et leurs produits aussi. On a des économies tellement intégrées. C'est clair que sans l'aluminium, on verra l'inflation aux États-Unis qui montrait d'une façon qu'en quelques jours, ils réalisaient la peine de cette décision-là. Alors, nous avons une équipe ici forte qui a réussi à éviter des tarifs à ce point. On va continuer de réussir d'éviter les tarifs parce que c'est clair pour les Américains en Congrès, les sénateurs, les gouverneurs, que ça va rendre de la peine aux Américains qui ont besoin de cet aluminium, qui ont besoin de cette énergie et de cette électricité, qui ont besoin de notre partenariat pour leur nourriture et pour essayer d'assurer que leurs prix sont bas. Alors, moi, je suis vraiment fière de cette équipe du Canada qui fait un bon travail aujourd'hui, demain et pour les prochains 30 jours et les 30 jours après ça pour défendre l'économie du Canada et de continuer d'avancer nos liens avec les États-Unis comme des bons voisins, comme des bons partenaires, les meilleurs partenaires que les États-Unis a, c'est nous autres au Canada. On va continuer d'avancer ce partenariat-là.
Comme le demande.
Absolument. C'est quelque chose qui doit arriver avant le 1er avril. Alors, nous sommes tout à fait prêts à faire les négociations là où ils devraient être faits avec l'entente, puis avec le monde global qui sont vraiment intéressés à ce qui se passe au moment ici entre le Canada et les États-Unis.
On dairy, even friends of Canada down here raise the issue of dairy every time. Are any of the premiers, yourself included, willing to start talking about dairy and not getting rid of supply? They say that, but they do say we're too restrictive. So if we've got to ask for something, are we willing to give anything on their biggest irritation?
Well, the place to have those conversations is at the table in a review of the USMCA and a reconsideration of that agreement, because that's really where the last conversation ended and where we need to pick it back up to see what that negotiation is going to look like and what concessions are going to be made on both sides.
Federal response.
Dairy? No? No, I just want to say a few words on dairy. In Quebec, we are against changing the management of the offer. The reason why we have that is to protect our regions, all right? So we don't give any subsidies to milk producer. So the only thing we do is we manage the offer, and it's a way to protect small farms in all the regions. So for us, it's not negotiable. Oui. Nous, on est prêts à beaucoup de compromis dans l'aéronautique, dans la forêt, dans peut-être de la sécurité à long terme sur l'aluminium. Mais il y a 2 points pour nous qui ne sont pas négociables. Un, la gestion de l'offre, parce que ça protège les régions du Québec. On ne donne aucune subvention aux producteurs de lait, contrairement à ce qui se fait aux États-Unis et ailleurs, mais c'est la façon de protéger nos petites fermes en région. Donc, ça, pour nous, c'est pas négociable. La deuxième chose pour nous qui n'est pas négociable, c'est la protection de la langue et de la culture dans toutes les ententes internationales. On a 9 millions d'habitants au Québec. On est entouré de 350 millions d'anglophones. Le français sera toujours vulnérable. Donc, dans les ententes internationales, c'est important pour nous de protéger le français et la culture. Bien, le problème, c'est qu'on ne le sait pas. On n'a pas d'interlocuteur, mais effectivement, on ne peut pas continuer comme ça à réagir à chaque semaine à des nouvelles menaces. Il faut être capable de renégocier. Bon, c'est pas tout le monde qui est d'accord. Je passe la parole à Daniel.
Can I just say first a couple of things. I think diplomacy is working. I think that the fact that we got a 30-day reprieve was because we agreed to work on the cross-border problem of fentanyl. I was pleased to see the federal government announced a fentanyl czar, and my administration has already been in touch with him to talk about how in Alberta we can lend to the success of those efforts. So what I would say is what I've seen from this president is that he is prepared to make a deal. We've made a deal on that. I think we can make a deal on steel and aluminum by making very much the same argument that I've been making on energy and critical minerals. We've won the argument that those raw materials are essential to American success. It comes in, it makes value-added products, it creates good American jobs, it creates good American products that we buy back. Same thing for aluminum. They just do not make enough for their defense industry, their auto industry, and their critical needs. So I think aluminum, we can make the very same argument. And on steel, we buy as much steel products from them as they buy from us.
Premier Smith, when did you become aware of concerns over contracts at AHS? And do you think the RCMP should be called in?
Well, I'm glad that we're going to have the Auditor General take a look at it. I first became aware of it when I saw the newspaper reporting on it. And we're interested in hearing what the Auditor General has to say. We've already set up a shared file so that they can get all of the documents that we have to see if there is any wrongdoing. If there's wrongdoing, we'd like to get to the bottom of it. And if there isn't, we need to find out why AHS is standing in the way of charter surgical centers.
How did you not know what your chief of staff was up to if the allegations proved to be
Well,
true?
we've been asking for 8 months for any, as I understand it from my health minister, for any indication of wrongdoing. We've not seen any. So I think we have to see if there's any wrongdoing first. And if there is, then we have to clean it up.
Do you still have confidence in your health minister? Do you still have confidence in your health minister?
I still have confidence in my health minister.
Okay,
Thank you.
you gotta go. The premiers have to stay on to the next meeting.
On USMCA, it has to be renegotiated. I think we have to remember we've got two sets of tariffs. This first tariff was about dealing with the fentanyl crisis, and I think that we have satisfied the president that we're working on that. The second round of tariffs will come with the renegotiation of USMCA, and I think the sooner we get a government with a 4-year mandate, the sooner we can open that up and solve the broader range of tariff issues that we have.
So I just wanted to say, over the past few weeks, Canadians have seen that we can get results when we stick up for ourselves. And we are tough as Canadians. I mean, you see a little bit of snowfall here, the entire city of Washington, D.C. comes to a halt, but us Canadians, we're going outside without our coats on. And on peut le faire dans une façon bilingue en même temps. C'est comme ça comme les Canadiens. But the purpose of the trip here is not for us to come down and try to issue ultimatums and things like that. The purpose of the trip here is diplomacy. It's the warm and hearty handshake, making the case that the Canadian-American friendship has been the best in the world for decades and decades, and we want to continue that for decades more. And so the offensive that we're making here is a charm offensive. It's a friendship building, a relationship building exercise. And of course, as Canadians, we're always going to be able to stand up for ourselves. We always put our Canadian values first. But in this moment, it's crucial for us to use this window that we have with no tariffs to try and keep things that way.
Okay, so we've just been hearing from several of the Canadian premiers there about the expectations and goals for today. You know, that was Wab Kinew, Premier of Manitoba, just there saying, you know, looking to maintain the friendship here in diplomatic efforts with a charm offensive is really what he was getting at. Danielle Smith there saying that she thinks President Donald Trump is prepared to make a deal, saying there is an argument to be made, especially around the steel and aluminum products, which tariffs will be kicking in on March 12th at 25%, and then the other 25%.
So 50%.
Once, which could be 50%.
Yeah.
So lots at stake there happening down in Washington, D.C.